Does this sound familiar? You're in the middle of rehearsal, or even worse, in the middle of a service, and someone says, "I can't hear myself in my monitor." So you fix it. Then a few seconds later, "Okay, I'm too loud now." And then someone else says they need something different. Before you know it, you're not even mixing anymore. You're just chasing monitor changes. If that's your normal Sunday, the problem might not be your monitor mix, it might be your system. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up the P16 personal monitor system with your X32 or M32, so your musicians can control their own mix, and you can actually focus on yours. Here's the real problem with traditional monitor setups. Most of the time, you're using wedge monitors, and that means you're trying to build a mix for the stage from one position. But everyone on stage wants something different. Your vocalist wants more of themselves, your guitarist wants more guitar and less vocals, your drummer might want the kick or click track louder than everything else. So now you're trying to create multiple different monitor mixes that all compete with each other.
Why are you the way that you are?
And even if you get those mixes close, you're still dealing with stage noise from the monitors themselves. All that sound is spilling back into the room, into open mics, which makes your front of house mix harder to control. So the problem isn't just that people can't hear themselves, it's that the whole system is working against you. That's where a system like the P16 personal monitor system changes things. Instead of trying to build one mix or even multiple competing mixes, each team member gets to create their own personal mix. You send your channels from the mixer to the P16 system, and each person can adjust exactly what they want to hear without affecting everyone else. And because this is typically used with in-ear monitors, you also dramatically reduce stage noise, which makes your front of house mix cleaner and easier to manage. So instead of fighting the system, you're setting it up to actually work for you. The good news is this isn't complicated. Once you understand how the system connects and how to set up your routing, it becomes a really simple and repeatable setup. There are really just two parts to this: getting everything connected and then routing your channels. First, let's take an Ethernet cable and plug it into the Ultranet port on the back of your X32 or M32. Now, I'd show you this on my mixer, but as you can see, it's pretty hard to get back there. So here's the next best thing. You need to make sure that this is a shielded Cat5e or Cat6 cable. Then take the other end of that cable and plug it into the Ultranet in on the P16D distribution hub. Think of the P16D like a network switch. Everything branches out from this one point. If you need more mixers, you can link additional P16 units together by connecting the out on your first P16D to the Ultranet in of the second P16D. So from there, run Ethernet cables out to each of your P16M personal mixers on the stage. Then press the on-off button to turn it on. The first P16M can run off PoE or power over Ethernet. If you want to daisy chain additional P16Ms to that first one, the additional units will need to be powered with a power adapter. Now that everything is connected, we need to tell the mixer what to send to the P16 system. The first step I suggest is to write down which channels you want to use on the P16 system, so make a list of what goes where first. One thing that helps a lot is grouping things in a way that makes sense. For example, I have my lead vocalist and his guitar in 1 and 2, then the other vocalist and her guitar in 3 and 4, and so on. Once you got that, press the routing button, then go over to the P16 tab. What you're looking at here on the left are the 16 channels that get sent to every P16M personal mixer. Whatever you put here is what your musicians will be able to control. You can scroll through each of the 16 channels using the first encoder. The third encoder knob lets you choose the category of output you want to send. You can send your mains, mix buses, matrices, direct channels, or your talkback to the P16Ms. This is just really a shortcut to the next column on your output signals. For the most part, you will want to send direct outputs to the P16Ms. However, in my setup, I have all the drum mics combined in a mix bus, so I route that to one channel, essentially combining 6 channels to one in a roundabout way. Now, over on the right side, you'll choose where you want to tap that signal. And this part matters more than people think. The N/LC is your input and low cut only, so it bypasses the gate, dynamics, and EQ. Pre-EQ taps in before your EQ, so it's sent without your EQ adjustments. Post-EQ taps after your EQ, so naturally the EQ settings are sent. Pre-fader, all of your processing, but it ignores your fader position. For post fader, you get all your processing as well, but if you adjust the fader for your main mix, it adjusts the volume going to the P16s as well. Now you'll also see a +M on all of these. What this does is if you mute a channel, it mutes the channel on the P16 as well. So if you mute a singer and forget to unmute them, they won't be able to hear themselves. Most of the time, pre-fader is the best choice in my opinion, especially if you want your musicians to have a consistent mix. Once you've assigned a source and chosen where it's coming from, just repeat the process for all 16 channels, and that's it. Now your P16 system has everything it needs. If you want to see a diagram of the tap tree, select the channel and press the home button, then press the right button until you get to the sends tab. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the signal path and where the taps come into play. Now that everything is set up and routed, this is where the P16 system really starts to help. Each musician has their own P16M personal mixer, and from here they can select any of those 16 channels you assigned and adjust the level to build their own mix. They can also pan things left and right and make small EQ adjustments if needed. So instead of constantly adjusting monitor mixes for everyone on stage, you set this up once and your musicians take it from there. That means fewer interruptions during rehearsal, less back and forth during the service, and a lot less stress on you at the console. And as a bonus, like I said before, if you're using in-ears, you'll have reduced stage noise, which is a godsend and makes your mix cleaner and easier to manage. And that's it. Once you've gotten this set up, messing with monitor mixes is a thing of the past. If this video helped you out, please consider subscribing. I've got more videos coming up. And if you want to see how to actually build a mix on the P16, I'll have a video on that coming soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.